LeBron James missed back-to-back three-point attempts that would have likely forced overtime as the Charlotte Hornets escaped with a 197 road win over the Lakers last night. After the game, LeBron and Luka spoke on the Lakers' end-of-game strategy.
He had it going, so obviously we're going to go to him. I think it go both ways, so one time it's going to be him, one time me, so I think it depends how the games go.
You run the set that the coaches, JJ draws up, and we executed, we just didn't make it.
All right, S.A., you know the deal. Brought in Luka, obviously new head coach in J.J. Redick. What would you consider a success for L.A. this year?
If they got to the Western Conference Finals. That means they would have won 2 rounds in the playoffs. They would have won a first round in the divisional playoff series. If they do that, semifinal series. If they do that, that would be tantamount to success for me. I don't expect them to win a championship. I don't expect them to win the West. But if they were one of the final 2 teams in the Western Conference, that would be hugely successful considering how debilitated they are in terms of, personnel.
Yeah, I don't expect them to win a championship either, but what you want is for them to get to the NBA Finals. That's how you define success because that's all the Lakers care about. It's championships, albeit I think it's a little unrealistic. But when you have 2 top 10 players in the world, 2 players that can take a team to the finals in and of themselves, then, yeah, I think the goal should be to get to the NBA Finals. That is how you define success. Anything less, you can't call it a success.
I agree with that. I mean, listen, I'm impressed with what the job that J.J. Redick has done. Very meticulous, very on it. He's doing the kind of job I expected him to do, but he's got shoes to fill. We have to remember Darvin Ham took this team his rookie year as a head coach to the Western Conference Finals. When they lost in the first round last year, it was to the same team they lost to in the Western Conference Finals who ended up winning the championship. That was the Denver Nuggets. Last year, we were making a legitimate argument that if it were not for the Denver Nuggets, there was no team in the West that the Lakers could not beat. So the number one priority, CeCe, would be to avoid the Denver Nuggets at all costs because you ain't beating them. And outside of that, again, if you go up against anybody else and you end up going to the Western Conference Finals, I'd say that's a huge success for them.
Yeah.
All right, let's get one more commercial.
Into SportsCenter, the Bucks' Bobby Portis has been suspended 25 games for violating the league's drug policy. His agent told ESPN Sharpe that Portis was given the wrong pill from an assistant and took an unapproved pain medication instead of an approved one. Portis has played in 46 games this season and is the Bucks' 6th man, averaging just under 14 points per game and over 8 boards. The Bucks are currently 2-5 without Portis this season and allowing 126 points per game. Portis was coming on strong with Giannis out of the lineup, averaging 16 points, 11 boards over his last 5 games. We now welcome in NBA analyst Danny Green to the show. So the earliest we could see Portis' return to the floor is April 8th. So where exactly will Milwaukee feel Portis' absence most?
I mean, they'll feel it in a lot of places, especially that bench production. As you can see the numbers, he's a walking double-double for them off the bench almost. And for him not to be there, this is going to be a huge for Kuz to step up. They're going to need him to point production, Gary Trent, all those guys, because he's an inside presence. He protects the rim some. He shoots the 3. He does a lot of things for them. So them missing him for this last leg of the season is going to be tough. Also, not having that rhythm, that chemistry going into the playoffs. So this is a big deal if you're Milwaukee. I have a lot of concerns if you don't have this guy in the lineup for the last stretch of the season.
Yeah, there will only be 4 games left in the regular season when he returns. Danny, we'll be right back with you. Matt?
We will, because we're going to travel out to L.A. It's quarter Lakers day. End of that. You know, if John McEnroe's giving you stink face, it was good. Bronny, that's my dad. Game tied at 80. After the Hornets answer with the 3, LeBron, same, ties it at 83. Hornets used a 17-1 third-quarter run to make this thing close. Then game tied at 90. That's Miles Bridges, 29 points, 6 rebounds, 5 steals. Hornets take the lead. Lakers down 1 now. Rui Hachimura misses. Luka does it in the paint. 14 points, 11 rebounds, 8 assists. Lead. Lakers needing a bucket. 14 seconds left to win 100-97. So LeBron gets the last shot in the first scenario with Luka as the teammate. James and Doncic combined to go 2 for 7 from the field in the final 5 minutes. It was just the Lakers' second loss in 8 clutch time situations since the new year.
All right, Danny, so LeBron, he missed his opportunities. But how do you feel about Luka's involvement in the final seconds of that game?
I mean, I wasn't surprised. He had been struggling most of the game. And Brian got hot. Brian got hot in the 4 legs under him, gets in better conditioning. he'll get more rhythm, and he'll be the guy, you know, that is more than just a decoy in these situations. Last night was a tough one for them, tough loss. I think a big change happened when Austin got, you know, ejected from the game, but this is a game that they'll learn from and get better.
You mentioned getting his legs under him. We haven't seen him that much since Christmas, so he's still getting used to the game. Big picture, though, what concerns you the most about this Lakers team as Luka continues rounding into form?
It's too early right now. I'm not too concerned, but the biggest concern for me is that, which is everybody else's concern, is the lack of inside presence. They don't have a lot of rim protection. They don't have many lob threats. They have one in Jackson Hayes. But the lineup at the end of the game is a small ball lineup. When they finish the game, good one. But in the West, I just don't see that lineup beating many teams in the playoffs. So that's my biggest concern for them, is the lack of size, and that their end of game lineup is not one that can beat, you know, many teams in the West.
Okay, so you mentioned that. There was a guy that was supposed to be in that lineup, Mark Williams. So before we let you go, what was your reaction when Bron rose up on his almost teammate?
Yeah, he had me off my feet. He had a lot of people off their feet last night.
Yeah, Bronny over there looking shocked that his dad still got it. Danny, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Các bạn vừa xem xong video phân tích của chúng tôi. Sau đây sẽ là video hướng dẫn cách làm một tấm thiệp hình trái tim cute của chúng tôi. Bây giờ các bạn cùng tôi thực hiện cách làm nhé. Hôm nay thì mình sẽ hướng dẫn cho các bạn cách để có thể làm một cái tấm thiệp hình trái tim rất là cute với cái phần chân và cái phần tay rất là dài nhé. Ở đây thì đầu tiên là các bạn sẽ chuẩn bị cho mình một cái bút chì này. Tiếp theo ở đây thì các bạn sẽ sử dụng thêm một cái bút bi mực đen này. Mình sẽ có thêm kéo này, súng bắn keo nhé các bạn. Và đây nhé, đối với cái phần tấm thiệp này thì chúng ta sẽ có 5 màu. Đây là cái phần màu mà mình sẽ sử dụng để làm cái phần thân cũng như là cái phần chân và phần tay của cái hình trái tim này. Đầu tiên là mình sẽ có màu xanh lá cây để làm cái tấm thiệp này. Màu vàng mình sẽ sử dụng để làm cái phần tay hoặc cái phần chân, còn màu hồng còn lại thì nếu mà màu vàng làm tay thì màu hồng sẽ làm chân. Rồi tiếp theo là màu trắng và màu đen thì mình sẽ sử dụng để làm cái phần mắt của cái hình trái tim này. Bây giờ thì chúng ta sẽ bắt đầu với cái phần từ lấy màu xanh lá cây này nhé các bạn. Các bạn sẽ gập đôi cái phần từ lấy màu xanh lá cây này vào cho mình. Đây, các bạn sẽ gập đôi nó vào và bây giờ thì mình sẽ vẽ cái phần hình trái tim nhé. Các bạn sẽ gập đôi nó vào và cái phần này thì các bạn sẽ sử dụng để làm cái phần cạnh để các bạn có thể mở ra được, thì các bạn sẽ không cắt hết cái phần này mà các bạn sẽ vẽ như này nha.